Before we crack open tonight's cursed can of content, I just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers, and an extra sinister shout out to the loyal members of the Sinister Elite. You legends help keep the darkness alive. If you're enjoying the stories and want to take it a step further, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and consider joining the Sinister Elite by clicking that join button below. Members get access to creepy custom emojis and exclusive Sinister Elite badges that level up the longer you survive with us. It's like loyalty, but spookier. All right, lights off, headphones in, and let's summon something we'll all regret. My name's Daryl. I mop floors, restock toilet paper, and occasionally plunge horrors from the abyss. When I got hired as the overnight custodian at the Exit 54 rest stop just outside of Nashville, I figured it'd be easy money. Clean bathrooms, take smoke breaks, avoid eye contact with truckers doing weird yoga stretches in the parking lot. The manager, a jittery guy named Keith, walked me through the place with a flashlight that flickered like it owed someone money. "Everything you need is in the supply closet," he said, jingling a ring of keys. "Mop, bleach, gloves, air freshener. But listen, Daryl." He looked me dead in the eye like I was about to get drafted. "There's only one rule on night shift. Just one." I leaned in. Was I about to be told not to do crack in the janitor closet? Not to flush roadkill down the toilets? He pointed to the far stall in the men's room. "Stall number 3. Don't clean stall number 3. Ever. Don't open it. Don't look in it. Don't even sweep near it, you understand?" I laughed. "What's in there, Keith? Elvis's ghost? A portal to hell? That where you stash the snacks you don't want to share?" Keith didn't laugh. He just handed me the keys and whispered, "If you hear something breathing in there, walk away." Then he got in his old Honda Civic and peeled out like the devil himself was in the back seat. So, night 1. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I was cruising the aisles with my earbuds in, listening to a podcast about haunted vending machines or something. I cleaned the women's bathroom, somehow less disgusting than I expected. Windexed the windows, took out the trash, even mopped up a puddle that I think was root beer. Then I made my way to the men's room. It smelled like sadness and beef jerky farts. You know, standard. I did my thing, gloves on, bleach in hand. And when I got to stall number 1, I heard something. Thup, thup. Like someone sucking wet noodles through their teeth. I paused, took out an earbud. Nothing. I shrugged it off, hit stall number 2, then looked at number 3. It was closed. I hadn't touched it. But now, I was curious. The janitor in me, trained through years of questionable gigs and liquid horrors, wanted to open that door just to see how bad it was. I mean, maybe it was just clogged, maybe Keith was exaggerating, maybe stall number 3 was just gross, not haunted. I reached for the door. The metal felt ice cold. And then I heard it. Breathing. Like something deep in the dark was just waiting. I backed away real quick, almost tripped over my own mop bucket. "Nah," I said out loud. "I don't get paid enough for demons." I wheeled my gear out of the bathroom like it was on fire, locked the door behind me, and told myself it was just a weird air vent or a possum in the pipes. You know, normal stuff. At 3:12 a.m., I took a break outside, smoked half a cigarette, stared at the stars. It was dead quiet. No cars, no headlights, not even a cricket chirp. Then the men's room light flicked on by itself. Just for a second. And I swear to God, I saw a hand pull back the curtain in stall number 3. Except, there's no curtain in there. Just a door. I put out my smoke and went back inside, ready to nope out for the night. And that's when I saw it. On the floor. Just in front of stall number 3. A single wet footprint. Barefoot. Human-shaped. But it was upside down. Like the toes were facing the wrong way. I don't scare easy. I've been a janitor at an all-night strip club, a carnival, and one time at a Chuck E. Cheese during a toddler birthday brawl. I've seen things. Smelled worse. But that footprint, that barefoot, upside-down, glistening wet footprint in front of stall number 3, that was new. I stared at it for a good 10 seconds, thinking maybe it was a prank. Maybe Keith had left some Halloween gag behind to scare the rookie. But the floor had just been bleached by yours truly. It was dry. And that print was still wet. Like it had just stepped out of the stall. And the air smelled like lake water and something else. Like old rust and teeth? I backed out of the bathroom, real slow, locked the door again. I didn't hear anything that night, but I also didn't sleep. I sat in the janitor closet for the rest of the shift, lights on, chugging Monster and listening for any sounds of movement or weird wet chewing noises. When the sun finally cracked over the horizon and the first car pulled into the lot, I clocked out so fast I swear I left a Daryl-shaped vapor trail. I should have quit. But I'm not smart like that. I needed the paycheck. Plus, part of me wanted to know what the hell was in there. Night 2 came. Same deal. Clean everything but stall number 3. Only this time, I brought backup. A giant LED flashlight, the kind hunters use to find raccoons at midnight. I clipped it to my belt like I was about to storm Area 51. Everything went smooth at first. Trash emptied, urinal cakes refreshed. I even jammed out to some Creed. Don't judge me. Then, around 2:30 a.m., I went into the men's room. The first thing I noticed was that it smelled cleaner. Like someone had been in before me, but not with bleach. It smelled like soap. Real old-fashioned stuff, like the kind your grandpa used to shave with. And stall number 3? It was open. Not all the way, just cracked. Like someone was inviting me in. I stood there, breathing through my nose, trying not to panic. The air felt thicker near the stall, like it was being pumped in from somewhere else. I didn't move. I just stared at the sliver of darkness between the door and the wall. Then I heard it. Daryl. A voice, raspy, wet, coming from inside stall number 3. Daryl, mop, please. I swear on my mama's brisket it sounded like someone had a mouthful of water and old pennies. I turned, ran, left my mop, left my bucket, slammed the door behind me and threw my keys across the floor like that had somehow stopped whatever the hell just said my name. I hid in the janitor closet again. This time I locked it from the inside. 30 minutes later I heard the men's room sink turn on, then a noise like something dragging across the tile. Thump. Slide. Thump. And then, it was outside my closet. Not knocking. Just breathing. Long, gurgling breaths through what sounded like holes in a sponge. I held my flashlight like a weapon and whispered every prayer I could remember from Sunday school, including the part where Jesus flips over tables. I needed that version. Then it stopped. Silence. After a few more monster sips and some aggressive chewing of stale gum, I finally cracked the door open. Nothing. The hallway was empty, but down by the restroom, a single paper towel was folded into the shape of a flower, sitting right in front of the bathroom door, like a gift, from stall number 3. I didn't tell Keith. What was I supposed to say? Hey, the haunted stall said my name and made me a towel flower? Nah, that's how you end up jobless and in therapy. Or worse, promoted. But I did keep the towel flower. Not for sentimental reasons. I just wanted to get a look at it under the good light. Back in the janitor closet, I unwrapped it carefully. Each fold was precise, like it had been made by someone with too much time and way too many fingers. It smelled like soap. That same weird, old-timey kind. But the center was damp. And inside that damp towel flower was a penny. A 1947 wheat penny. It had a bite mark in it. I stared at it for a long time, tried to laugh it off. Maybe a coin collector raccoon was squatting in stall number 3. Maybe I was just really, really sleep deprived. But then, on the back of the penny, scratched into the metal with something sharp, were 4 words. Clean me next, Daryl. I threw that penny across the room so hard it hit the wall and disappeared behind a rack of toilet paper. That was the moment I decided I needed answers. So I waited. I finished the rest of my shift with both eyes on the restroom door. I didn't mop. I didn't sweep. I just sat, waiting. At exactly 3:07 a.m., the air changed. Colder, wetter, like something swampy just stepped into the building. The bathroom lights flicked once. Then I heard it again. "Daryl, mop, please." Except this time it wasn't just one voice. There were two. One higher, like a woman whispering from underwater. The other low and raspy. Together they echoed from the walls like the tile was breathing. I cracked open the janitor closet and peeked out. The hallway lights had dimmed, but the men's room door was wide open. And the smell? Not soap anymore. It smelled like iron and wet dog fur. I grabbed my flashlight and tiptoed to the restroom, heart pounding, every part of me screaming, "This is how Daryl dies," shirtless and holding Pine Sol. Inside it was pitch black, but stall number 3? The door was gone. Not open. Gone. Like it had been ripped off the hinges and sucked into space. Instead, there was an opening. Not even a stall anymore. Just a dark, arched hole in the wall. Tiles were cracked around it like something had punched through. And painted on the wall above it, in what looked like coffee but definitely wasn't coffee, one more mop. I don't know what possessed me, besides possibly Satan, but I took one step closer. Then the floor rippled, like actual waves sloshing across the tile. My flashlight fizzed and died, and something reached out of the hole. Not a hand, not a tentacle, just a mop, dripping wet, held by nothing, and it slapped onto the floor between us with a sound like a raw steak hitting concrete. A whisper followed. "Trade." I noped so hard I nearly knocked myself out on the paper towel dispenser, ran back to the closet, locked it, cried a little, not ashamed. When I finally peeked out again hours later, the mop was gone. But my mop? That was leaning against stall number 3, and it was cleaner than I'd left it, shinier, like someone, or something, had taken good care of it. And on the handle, etched deep into the plastic, "We mop for you. You mop for us." I did something stupid. Look, I lasted 3 nights with the same rule echoing in my brain like a bootleg gospel. Don't clean stall number 3. But I broke it. And now I don't think I'm in Tennessee anymore. Let me back up. I went in on night 4 with a plan. Bring a buddy. His name's Red. Big dude, trucker, smells like diesel fuel and menthols. I clean his rig sometimes in exchange for breakfast sandwiches. I told him what I'd seen, heard, and mopped. He didn't laugh. He said, "Rest stop off. Exit. 54. Right?" I know it. It shouldn't exist. That froze me, mid-Cheez-It. "What do you mean it shouldn't exist?" Red leaned in like he was about to confess to a murder. "I've been driving this route 20 years. There ain't no exit 54. Only goes to 53, then jumps to 55. GPS won't show it, but sometimes late at night it's just there." I stared at him. "You ever stop here before?" He nodded. "Once. Bathroom smelled like soap and teeth. I never came back." I begged him to come inside with me. Watch my back. See what I saw. He said no. Tossed me a half-used bottle of holy water and told me, "If the mop gets heavy, drop it. And don't look into the drain." Thanks, Red. Super comforting. So I went in. And I did it. I walked into the men's room, heart pounding, flashlight clipped to my shirt, and pushed open the door to stall number 3. It was still gone. Just that dark, wet archway in the wall. I stepped inside. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. And suddenly, I wasn't in the restroom anymore. I was in another restroom, bigger. Endless rows of stalls stretching into darkness. All of them pristine, glistening tile walls that pulsed slightly like they were alive. And the smell? Clean. Too clean. It smelled like antiseptic heaven. like a dentist's office had a baby with a laundromat and baptized it in bleach. There were other janitor carts, old ones, new ones, some rusty, some covered in moss, and mops, so many mops, hanging like trophies on the wall. And then I saw them, the cleaners, 3 figures, tall, pale, featureless faces with yellow rubber gloves melted onto their hands. They moved in unison, sliding across the floor like their feet didn't touch it. One of them turned toward me, no mouth, but I heard it. "Mop for us." I should have run, but I stepped forward, gripped my mop and dipped it into the nearest bucket. The water turned red, and the stall next to me screamed. That's when I realized the stalls weren't empty. Each one had a figure inside, twisting, moaning, slamming against invisible walls, all janitors, all mopping, forever. I dropped the mop, ran, sprinted back toward the arch. Behind me, I heard sloshing footsteps and that awful whisper rising in pitch. "We mop for you. You mop for us. Trade, trade, trade." I dove through the arch, hit the bathroom floor hard, and scrambled out the door like it was on fire. Red was waiting in his truck, looking pale. "You're lucky," he said. "Most folks don't make it back. The ones that do?" He pointed at the janitor closet door. It was moving. Something inside was mopping. I didn't open it. I just walked to the road, looked for the highway sign. Exit 54? Gone. Just trees. No lights. No road. No rest stop. But my name? It's still on the cleaning schedule, etched into the janitor closet door, in the same handwriting from the penny. I don't remember driving home. One minute I was staring at where exit 54 used to be, and the next I was in my kitchen, standing in front of the sink, holding a bottle of Pine Sol I don't remember buying. My boots were soaked. My mop, not my regular mop, was already leaning against the fridge like it had followed me home. The head was still dripping, and the water was black. That's when I realized I never clocked out. I checked the punch card from the rest stop. It was still in my back pocket, but now every slot was stamped in. None of them were out. It didn't matter that I left the building. I was still on the clock. And worse, they knew where I lived. That night, the drains in my house started gurgling. The bathroom mirror fogged up without steam, and written across it in dripping streaks of Windex blue, "One more stall." So I did what any sane man would do. I packed a bag, grabbed Red's bottle of holy water, and drove straight to a church. Slept in the parking lot with a crucifix on my forehead and a plunger in my lap. But it didn't matter. At 3:07 a.m., my phone rang. The number? 54. I answered it. I shouldn't have. All I heard was mopping, slow, wet, endless, and then my own voice. "Daryl, stall's ready." Click. Next day, I called every highway department in the state. "Nobody's ever built a rest stop at exit 54, they said. "Doesn't exist." I showed them photos. They were all corrupted, blurry, like I'd taken pictures inside a dream. So I did what I always do when things don't make sense. I went to Red's truck stop and slammed 3 energy drinks back to back like they were holy sacraments. He didn't say much, just handed me a box. Inside, a janitor uniform, brand new, still wrapped in plastic. On the breast patch, Daryl number 2. I looked at Red. What happened to Daryl number 1? He took a long drag of his cigarette and said, "You ever seen a mop cry blood?" I had not. That night I went back, not because I wanted to, because I had to. I parked in the middle of nowhere. No road, no sign. But I knew where the rest stop would be, and sure enough, there it was. Exit 54, glowing faintly under the moon like it never left. I walked inside. No hesitation this time. The lights flickered and every stall door creaked open in unison. Except one. Stall number 3. It was shut, waiting. I walked to it. My mop pulsed in my hand like it was alive. Then, the door slowly opened, and inside, there was a mirror. Not a toilet. Not a wall. A mirror. But it didn't show me. It showed every stall I'd ever cleaned, every floor I'd ever mopped, every nasty, cursed, supernatural spill I'd ever scrubbed while muttering, "I don't get paid enough for this." And in the reflection were the cleaners, all of them, staring, waiting. And then, from behind me, one final whisper, "Mop it clean, or join the team." I stepped forward, raised my mop, and cleaned that mirror with every ounce of holy rage I had. The mirror cracked, the light exploded, and suddenly, silence, darkness, peace. I woke up in my truck, no rest stop in sight, no mop, no whisper, just a sticky note on my chest, written in perfect block letters, "You may clock out now," and a penny taped to it, still wet, with one final message scratched into the back. "Thanks, Daryl. We'll call you if a stall opens up." I don't clean bathrooms anymore, but sometimes, when I drive late at night, I still smell that weird old-timey soap. And I check my GPS, just to make sure exit 54 isn't there. Because if it is, I'm not stopping. I already mopped my last stall,